important. All right, so we are going to discuss these problems. We can discuss any of them. I have all 26 on my slide presentation, although you only have about the first 10 on the worksheet. So when it asks us which two data sets show the most overlap, anyone want to talk about what you thought here with the most overlap, Jocelyn? Eh? So making sure that I split up what I'm looking at, right? Because these are a little bit close to each other. So we're looking at which ones have the most dots in the same places, you said? Okay. C? Well, so these four, these and these would be overlap. Fives aren't really together. These and these would be overlap. So B has a lot of points in the same, close to the same, like all these ones are together.
Yeah, I was debating between B.
But then 9 versus 10, right? So these aren't the same. They're real close, but they're not the same.
So then probably
D, my 2's are together, my 3's are together, my 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So all of these points are together. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 points that are overlapping with each other.
Yeah,
I think I'd go with D here.
yeah, the question was most overlap, like not the most amount, and still overlap. So.
Right, so if you think about the data visually of like what sets on top of each other, if we kind of slide the two graphs on top of each other, I think D's a pretty safe bet. Like, B's not bad. It has 5 points that would land on top of each other if I slid my two graphs together. C has 4 points that would land on top of each other. Yeah, I think D is our safest bet there. Does it? D still has more, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So guys, this we just talked about recently with triangle side lengths and the options for like the minimum side length and the maximum. So on your paper, the note that I want you to make here is that reminder of our triangle side length is going to be something less than x less than something, right? And this, the minimum side length, can you remember what we would do to find the minimum side length? Did we add or subtract or multiply or divide, or what did we do to find that minimum? You remember we using this with the triangle examples with moving the sides around? We did for one of them. Yeah, this is the difference, or you could write subtraction if you want. And over here, this is the sum. So our difference, the minimum side length that this could be, is if we do 3 minus 3/4. Which gives me, 2 and 1/4, right? Oh, okay. You all right? So then if we add them together, that tells us the longest that side could be. Do we remember that? Do we have questions on that? So choir people, Ron, I'm going to give you a second to get this written down. We're talking about triangles. Remember, when we don't know the third side of a triangle, the options that we have come from the difference all the way up to the sum. So any number between 2 1/4 and 3 3/4. So any number between there. Now one safe option is a lot of times we can actually make our third side the same length as our long side. Like, would 3 work as our third side? Well, ask yourself, is it between 2 1/4 and 3 3/4? Yeah. So that 3 inches, that'd be a safe answer there. Is make your third side the same as your second side. Any questions on that problem? A minus B is equal to C. Get a better camera angle for that, really. Okay. I know what B is. What do we know about B? It's in the negatives. I'm going to go ahead and make that red. So B's a bad guy. So we're going to do A minus a negative number equals... Well, what happens when we do minus a negative number?
It makes the negative, like, the number, like, it makes it less.
Makes it less negative, which actually makes it...
more negative, so, like...
Be careful. If you take away a bad guy... Remember, this is super complicated. Wait, can we make it easier? Because it's still Can we figure out what this is, actually? Yeah, like, if I say that these are all 1s, which we don't know, but they don't tell us they're not 1s, and as long as we make them all the same thing, -1, -2, -3, we can go ahead and call this -4. So we're going to be doing A minus -4. Wait, what does minus -4 do? It's actually plus. So this is actually going to be A plus 4 equals C. Now I can drop A, and then I know what C is. So wherever I drop A, and guys, there's not one right answer here, right? There's a bunch of answers that can be right. Guys, what if I drop A at 0? Ooh, wait. There's some restrictions. They tell us B is less than, okay, well that happened, right? B was in it, crap. C has to be less than 0. If I do this, C ends up here, which is not less than 0, so this doesn't work. I gotta shift down to shift everything down. Lacey?
So that would make, it would make it so A would have to be less than -4, so like...
Sure. What if I make it -10? Right, what if I say this will be A? Well, what is -10 plus 4? -6, right? So C, now I've done what they want me to do. So be careful that we read everything. Guys, I would highlight like where it says that C has to be less than 0. That's the trap door. Main thing we're going to do today is just make sure that we pay attention for all those trap doors and everything.
Will there be trap doors on the
This is exactly, these are questions like from the test. You won't see these questions this year because they've been released, but you'll see questions like this. So what you might see might be C has to be bigger than 0, or C has to be equal to 0. You know what I mean? Like, they'll change it. Questions? What do we think about this one?
Yeah, they're still right.
Proportional relationship. Guys, this is one where you probably don't know exactly what to do right now, and I want to give you a reminder of what always works. They want either A equals or B equals. Yep. Guys, hold on. Pause yourself.
Can I sharpen my pencil?
Yeah. Does A equal A? Yeah, right? I'm not making anything up. Does B equal B? Great. Does A equal A divided by B? Crap, I just broke it. What could I do to undo the division by B? So this is true now? A equals A divided by B times B? Because divided by B and times B, take this and put your numbers in. A, this is what we've been doing. I just didn't want to teach you the, hey, you should memorize this, but now I do. A equals the A value, -4, over the B value, -3, times B. This is the answer. What the test wants. That is what. Or, if I come over here, hang on to it for just a second, Natalie. If I come over here and I do B equals, I can divide by A and multiply by A. And now what I have is B equals B over A, so -3 over -4, times A. Natalie, you had your hand up. Yes. Now what I thought Natalie was going to say, and she's probably like, oh yeah, well that too. What's a negative over a negative? Actually a positive. So we don't really need those negatives. We could get rid of them.
Does it matter which order we do A or B?
Nope. As long as this is A equals A over B times B, and this is B equals B over A.
So you can't do B equals A over B.
Correct. Because then that's not true. If I switch this to B over A times A, like we had, this is now B. This would say A equals B. And if I switch it to this, it's A equals B squared over A. It's not the same. So it has to start with A equals A, right? And then if I divide by B, I multiply by B. Questions? Start with something that you know is true. Now the reason this works is proportional relationship. That's the trick here. It's not really a trick. Can anyone talk about this one and what observed frequencies mean? We've started to do this stuff in Con. What's a frequency? How much or how many? Yeah, so guys, if you can't think of that, let's highlight that and make a note. Frequency is how much or how many? Oh, I forgot. I didn't put this one on because it's took too much paper. Sorry, I had to pick and choose. So frequency, how much or how many? Well, expected frequency. If you have how many colors? 4 colors and 8 days. How many days do you think each color should get? 2, right? Guys, this is what I mean about this stuff we're going to do at the end of the year. Your brain is wired to think like this. 4 colors, 8 days, 2 days each. Does 2 days each happen? No. So who's closest to 2 days each? Well, blue. Wow, blue got lucky. Green. Green got 2 days. That's what we would have expected to happen. Questions about this question? I know it's not on your paper, but I wanted to talk about it.
Did yellow get any days?
No, they got Do you know what the expression, they got the short straw? It's people like pulling straws is something where like the short straw is the loser. You like have to like go fight the zombie and normally like die first or whatever. Yes. I need to unlock the outside of my door so you can get back in because it's loud across the hall. Well, I want to read aloud though. You don't want to read aloud? Even when I was a kid, I wanted to read aloud. I know, I was a weird kid, right?
You were a weird kid.
What kid wants to read aloud during class?
Yeah, like you definitely were a weird kid the day that you said you wanted to be an actor.
Yeah, I was like, I'll put on a show. Exactly. Mr. Shoop liked reading aloud too. What? Who? Huh? Ghostbuster. He's on his little cart right now. Not Ghostbustering. Alright, moving on. I think the next one is on your paper. Yeah, guys, try this one if you didn't get to it. Take a moment. Try this. I want you to take a risk on your own. Remember what words like parallel and perpendicular mean? Parallel means the same, right? Perpendicular means they make a right angle. So parallel versus perpendicular. Parallel to the base, so the same as the base. I think maybe we should use random cards to see who wants to help me. So you think I should just call on you, Natalie? What shape is our base? Square, because 5 centimeters, 5 centimeters. So our big B, right, big B, is a square. Big B is a square. Not today. Later in the week, though. So big B is a square. So what? Any volunteers? I got told not to do random cards. Miriam, parallel to the base. What can we make?
Parallel to the base would be square.
Is that it? Yeah, up until like the very point at the top, right? But remember, parallel to the base means goes the same. So bad drawing, but goes the same, right? Flat with the bottom.
Well, even if you got to the very tip of the base, the small sliver you cut off would still be square at the bottom.
Until it becomes just a point, right? If you cut off the very top. Perpendicular to the base. Any volunteers? Drew, I can't tell if the hand is up or just being a pillow. No, not up. Natalie, perpendicular to the base? Ooh, through the apex.
Isn't Apex a video game?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Apex is the very top. Perpendicular to the base through the apex means straight down here. What shape would that make by slice?
If you sliced it in half,
Yeah. Triangle, right? This slice would be a triangle.
That's a good triangle.
Oh, thanks.
No problem, buddy.
It looks like it's holy. It's got a little halo up there. And then perpendicular to the base. Ooh, wait, this one's weird. Perpendicular to the base, not through the apex. No, not C. Get out of here. Not. Oh, so that means bump it off, right? And come over here, or like come over here. What awkward shape did we say that makes when we make that slice kind of, and we miss the top, Natalie? It is a quadrilateral. It is the trapezoid. So down here is trapezoid. Sorry, in the middle. I know you know what you were talking about. And what you said was true, right? It is a quadrilateral. Specific quadrilateral trapezoid because it would look like, oh, I gotta erase this if we want it to look good. It would look,
I thought you just said I gotta be racist. Oh, yeah, you gotta be racist to make it look good.
that is not what I said, and we're gonna move right along. I can't draw a trapezoid. Not at that angle. I can draw a trapezoid, but I'm trying to put it at like a fake 3 dimensions, which is difficult. Guys, this one is a trapdoor through and through.
Well, it kind of says the answer.
No, it's a trapdoor because your brain will either think of the answer or the reciprocal of the answer. So what I really want to caution you about is look at the label that they give you in your answer and make sure you're thinking about that being the label attached to the number you get. So they're saying each cup of lemon juice, what we have to work with is one of what? One of the J's, right? So 1 is what J equals. So we're going to plug in 1 where we see J. But the weird thing is that creates the equation 1 equals 2W. The answer is not 2. The answer is half. Because what it's saying is the 1 J, cup of lemon juice, how many cups of water are needed for each cup of lemon juice? If W is our water, this problem's always a trap door. Every year when we talk about it, kids are always like, oh, wow, tricky.
I don't
Right.
get it.
Well, in your mind, it's all right. Because you don't have to admit to it. But seriously, the state test, they write tricky problems. So what they're asking is what number goes in here to make this statement true? And they told us that J is 1, each cup of lemon juice. Well, each cup of lemon juice, 1 cup of lemon juice, 2 times what number? This has to be a half. Right? Or we could solve it by doing division by 2 on both sides.
This is kind of not related to the math question, but what is state testing?
What is state testing? What? Do you want the honest answer?
Yes. It's honestly useless. It's just to see like who in the state is doing better.
Kind of, sort of, but no, the honest answer is like the original intention was to determine things about funding and like what districts needed funding and like help essentially. It's kind of a broken system. So what it does get used for in our district is we can use it to help like catch intervention needs. So like when kids have sort of started to fall behind for one reason or another, what it isn't used for is like, do I get into a certain special, so like we don't really, you know what I mean? If you want to try a harder class or try, like you can sign up for whatever you want. State tests aren't really going to restrict that or open that up sort of thing. It's not our choice.
So if I wanted to sign up for math 1, I could just be like, sure, even though
No, you just have to take math 8 first. But your state test score doesn't matter. The rule that matters is you got to take 8th grade math before freshman year math. Now, if you scored really well on the state test and went to the district and said, I would like to skip math 8, there's an option for that, but you have to like take a series of tests and prove that you know everything to skip that class.
What if I just walked up to you right now and I'm like, can I go to math 8 right now?
I mean, can you? That's like your option. So, Columbus. Somebody wanted to rain on my parade this morning when I got excited that they used Columbus. And they're like, it's the Ohio State test. I'm like, look, it's our town. I want to be excited. So quit raining on my parade. Total change, negative 15 degrees. Kind of feeling like what this week is going to look like with all the like low temperatures coming. So Monday, the change went up by 7. Then Wednesday, this is probably like what's going to happen. So of what we know, guys, add up what you know. So these right now make negative 5, plus 2 more, so negative 3, plus 1 more, so negative 2 is what we've got so far. So how many more do we need? If I got negative 2 so far, we need negative 13 more. So what that tells us is Tuesday and Thursday together need to make negative 13 more. Sure. Negative 10 and negative 3 add up to negative 13. I could also do like -13 in one of the days and 0 in another one of the days. We could also do like split it kind of right down the middle and say, okay, like -6, -7, because those add up to -13. Right, so what the computer is going to be looking for is, do these two boxes add up to -13? So that's what you need to make happen. I would make your life easy, like Madeline suggested. Make your life easier. Use a 10 if you can. Makes things nice. Questions on this one? Gravity works. All day, every day. Gravity works.
Oh my god, so funny. I hate gravity.
There was a cheat code.
We were at my
that did
house
that.
talking about gravity, and I have an 8-month-old brother, so he's just learning about gravity.
And how painful it is.
Yes. And so he always, I got him this dinosaur that he absolutely adores for Christmas. And
Excuse me.
so since he's learning about gravity, he could drop it on the floor, and we were talking about gravity and how he's learning about it. And as we were saying, at least it's not throwing, he throws it at my face.
Well, when you throw something, gravity doesn't work as well. He was experimenting. That was a scientific experiment. So, Willa. Willa wrote out the perimeter of this square, so all sides are equal, as 16x plus 24. But we're asked to rewrite this. Guys, please do this along with me. It's on your paper, right? If 16x plus 24, why aren't those together? Why haven't they added these numbers with each other? Yeah, what do we call that? They're not something terms. Like terms, right? They're not like terms. So we can't put these together. So what that means is each side has some amount of x's and some amount of just number, right? Is there a way that I can break these up to how many sides I have? Like, let's forget about the 24 for a minute. Can I break up 16x to the sides that I have? How do I do that? Like, what do I think about? 16x division. We split it by 4. So what is 16 divided by 4? Oh, so we get 4 x's. Guys, draw this on your paper. Write out something that will help you remember this. We split it by the 4 sides. And then, can I do the same thing but with the 24? So do that. You have or have not? Oh, nice. Harness that. But the problem is asking us to write an equivalent expression to represent the whole perimeter. So I just broke it up. They weren't meant to be anyways. A couple people got the joke. How do I write the whole perimeter together again? Anyone new? I got the same hands I've had. It's still the same hands I've had. It's like these 5 could run the whole class. I could retire.
Please, you want it? That'd be fine.
Mia?
I mean, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, multiply. So what we just showed is we have 4 sides that each are 4x plus 6. Guys, what this problem actually wants us to do, and you could make a note here if you want, is factor. What it's actually asking us to do is factor the expression they gave us and say how many sides we have. Right, we have 4 sides times the length of each side. Questions here?
What's your favorite day of the week? What time does this class end?
Now, wait, day of the week meaning like Monday through Friday, or because I don't.
Including weekends.
Probably Saturday because I like to wake up early and like clean the shop a little bit.
You like to wake up
Well, I don't like to, but my dogs make me. And then I just make coffee.
I wake up at like 6 without an alarm.
Yeah, same, like my internal clock. But then I try to go back to sleep until my dogs wake.
I almost fell out of
But
my
to answer your question, what wins this class over? I think 48.
I wake up at like I have a 12 on Saturdays. For some reason, whenever I just something about like I don't know, whenever I walk into the math classroom, my handwriting just becomes so awful that I can barely read it. And the second I leave, my handwriting is like perfect. Maybe you don't belong in math class. Probably because you were in
Whoa!
Everyone belongs in math class. Not me. Not me. Okay, if you actually pay attention and don't like sleep me, I've never fallen asleep.
Throwing some shade. We all know each other a lot better than we used to, don't we?
Oh,
We're all like talking smack and everything. I don't think this is on your paper because, you know, I don't want to use multiple sheets of paper if I can avoid it. So look up here, please. What is the critical thing to look at in a problem involving a... Oh, dang it. I didn't give my kids their schedules. Oh, wait. It's the group that goes to 1A. Right. What? How? Foundations. I'm not okay. Foundations. You are? No, you're not. No, but you didn't come to me this morning. I mean, you go to you stay with your 1A group though, right? But you're saying you didn't get schedules? So Kabilo didn't pass out schedules?
No.
So I'm going to go check in with Kabilo about schedules. Please, if you haven't looked at the rest of the problems on here, please do that. And I need to go make sure these get passed out to the other group.
Jake and Connor are both in the
ELA,
they're
right?
just in math.
But they're in ELA right now, right?
No, they're just in a higher
But
math.
they'll be in ELA 1B.
Yeah.
Okay.
A box contains red. Okay. Natalie is so fast. A box contains red markers, blue markers, and green markers. Okay, so I remember the question they said. No, we're not letting you. What is the critical thing? Door can't. What is the? No, that's for the Microsoft. Look at the professional handler. God. You gotta be recording. Press the mouse button. No. Press the mouse.
Oh, the mouse. I can't do that.
No, press the. Wait till tomorrow. You could have just pressed the mouse on the thing and it would. Oh, yay! She's the recording. Press the mouse and switch it.
While I'm reading down the hallway.
This makes laugh. It's really loud.
Mr. Kabilo, I walked in and I was like, hey, did you have schedules that you forgot to give your class? He goes, yes. He was about to say no. And then he's like, not only did I forget to hand them out, I forgot they existed. I was like, yep, that's a Monday for you.
Oh my
So this is tomorrow and Wednesday. Yeah, today is Monday. Who feels like last week was like a different universe? Like, or at least like longer ago than last week. You guys want to hear something funny? I don't know if I talked about this last week. I probably did because you guys are like my best friends. Thanks for the awe, but no, like I enjoy coming to work. But you guys know as much about my life as like any of my friends. Did I talk about the fact that I can marry people now?
Yeah.
So like on Saturday I did a wedding, and then so like on Friday I brought that thing for Mr. Kabilo. Then on Saturday I performed a wedding, and yesterday I just like did a bunch of chores and like went and picked up some tools, and I have the giant white creeper van right now because I'm picking up tools and project supplies. When you go out, I'm sure we'll be outside later today. So my friend who's like renovating an entire home has a transit van, those big like cargo vans. Now, this is not a creeper van because it has windows. uses, but I like to call it the creeper van because it's huge. But really, he uses it to go camping too. Like you can camp in it, you can sleep in it. It's huge. It's awesome.
So is it like a candy van or a...
It does not say free candy. That's how you get pulled over. So 60 comma y. Sorry, we can have a little bit of fun in here, but then we got to do some math too. So always points are x comma y. Right? If you need to make that reminder on your paper, please do so. And always these. I forgot. Always these axes are x and y. I covered up the x down here, but always. So what you want to look at is the label of the x, the label of the y. Right? So 60, what label does 60 get? The x label, which is minutes. So what we're looking for is 60 minutes. Nope. Right? Those are both 60 miles. Wait, crap, per hour. Wait, that is 60 minutes. Right? An hour is 60 minutes. So even though this says 60 miles, okay, we don't know. You're right. That's a really good point. So y, what label does y get? Miles, right? So y, what we know is y is our amount of miles. So let's find one that shows y miles, y minutes. Okay, no. Ooh, y miles. And we said an hour is 60 minutes. Guys, even though this one doesn't have the number 60 in it, that's your answer. Even though this doesn't have the number 60 in it, that's your answer. Do you get how that's a trap door? Sneaky. Guys, half of the math test is reading. Half of the math test is read carefully, look at labels. Like, half of any test really is reading.
I just fogged up my glasses and scared myself because I thought the fog was a person.
Well, the fog, I think, is like a Stephen King novel, actually. Or it might be The Mist. It's something like that, but it's like it kills you. It just straight up, like, it's a novel. There's terrible novels about anything.
I stopped reading Stephen King after Christine.
I stopped reading Stephen King when the global pandemic happened.
Why? Stephen King is one of the best.
He's a really good writer, but his stuff creeps me out. I don't think I read it. Not like in a bad way.
Like a car gets possessed.
See, I don't like car to get possessed. Maybe once you own a car, you'll...
It gets destroyed and then it comes back.
Okay, we got 3 more problems I'm trying to hit in about 4 minutes, so let's do this thing.
We were trying to do this question, but we couldn't figure out how to change the slide.
A box contains... You have to come over to the computer. A box contains... Now we gotta focus. A box contains red, blue, and green markers. There are more blue... Oh, that seems important. More blue than red. The probability of randomly selecting a blue is 1 out of 5. Or, because I like fractions better,
20 over 10.
can I make 1/5 into a bigger fraction? You bet ya.
Or 2 tenths or 20 over 100.
So any of those could be how many blue markers over total. What 1/5 does not mean is that we only have 5 markers. Right? That is not what it means. It means your simplified probability is 1/5. So a lot of times we want to use an unsimplified version because then they ask us, what's the possible probability that the selected marker's red? Red has less markers. Guys, if I come over here and try to make an amount of number less than what, can I have half of a marker?
No.
It's kind of messy.
I mean,
If
you
you,
can,
no, you can't have half a marker, like, right? So I got to use one of these bigger probabilities, and I can say, okay, red could be 3 out of 20, right? Because that's less. Or you can just make it 1 out of 20. I mean, if you want to be safe, you do not need to use the 5 in the denominator. That's the trap here. They make you think 1 out of 5. This is so much easier. 4 out of 20. Okay, so if I have 4 blues, I have 3 reds, or 2 reds, or 1 red. But you can't have 0. Kids before have been like, well, can I just use 0? They tell you that there are red markers, so you can't have 0. Even though mathematically, that would be true. Like, it would be true, not in this situation, because that wouldn't describe an amount, right? 0 is not an amount. We just talked about this. We literally just talked about this a few problems ago. We multiply by r, and we divide by r. If I multiply by a number and divide by the same number, what happens? They disappear, right? That's giant 1. Guys, an R on top. So what you might remind yourself, an R on top and an R on bottom is a 1. So this is really just Q is less than 0. This is really just Q is less than 0. And then that final question. Stephen Hawking is the scientist. I think you're thinking Stephen King.
So many Stevens.
Hold on, we got one more. I'm just dropping these. We got one more problem. What's the last problem? Ask us, Miriam.
It asks us for the volume, and the volume is length times width times height. So you multiply.
Careful. This is why I put this problem on here. Volume is not length times width times height. No, please do this with me, guys. Remember, volume, what we said and what we have on our notes. Guys, please do this with me. We have a minute. Volume is big B times 8. Big B, and you could shade this on your paper. Please stop. That's multiple times. I'm trying to wrap this up and fit it in something that matters. If you don't care, just leave. Big B is the base shape that is like cloned, right? It's like copied. The base is not the rectangle. Tricky, tricky, tricky. The base is this triangle. This is your big B. So here, to find big B, area of a triangle is going to be half the 8 times the 6. Because the 6 is the height of your triangle. The 8 is the bottom of your triangle. Then we use the 11. So still, we do use length and width and height. We use all of them. But because the triangle here, we have the extra 1/2. That half is because the triangle. Now, we're done. Thank you very much. Good luck tomorrow. You guys got this. No worries at all. Means no worries for the rest of your days. It's a problem-free philosophy. Hakuna Matata.